Have you ever had plantar fasciitis? This is one of the most persistent and painful injuries that a runner or a walker can experience. I'm David Smith with Las Vegas Area Trails.com. I'm a trail runner and hiker, and we're up in the Spring Mountains, Lee Canyon in Nevada, and looking down on Lee Canyon. But I want to take a moment and talk about plantar fasciitis. The plantar fasciitis is basically a sharp pain in the heel. Okay, and I've got it in my right heel, the bottom of the heel, and if it progresses, it can turn into heel spurs. So I've had it 2 or 3 times in my life, and this is probably the 4th time. So the question, how do you get plantar fasciitis? Well, I believe the way that I got it this time was running with old shoes, and I loosened the laces on my shoes because I had a pain at the top of my forefoot. The top of the front of my foot. And so I loosened my laces, and that seemed to get rid of that pain. And so I just kept running with the shoes a little loose. And in addition, I normally run and walk off trail, but I've been walking with my partner Darlene on asphalt about 4 miles a day. And so I think it was a combination of walking on the asphalt, having my shoelaces a little bit loose, and the shoes being old. Anyway, over time, it took about a month or two. I began feeling a little bit of a twinge of pain on my heel, and eventually the pain got really bad and it stopped me from running. So the question is now, how do you get rid of plantar fasciitis? Like I say, I've had it 2 or 3 times in my life before this, and one of them lasted almost a year, but it went away. And here's just a number of ways you can handle it. One is rest. You can stop running and get off your feet. I would not recommend that because then you lose your conditioning and all sorts of things happen. So I try to keep active, and as you can see, here I am up at 9,000 feet in the Spring Mountains. So yes, I got here through being on my plantar fasciitis heel. Okay, so another way besides rest, which as you can see I'm not doing, is you get a new pair of shoes. And I've got new pair of shoes with heel inserts, and then I've got a full blue gel insert also. So that could help somewhat. But I've had those for 2 or 3 weeks now. No, let's say 4 weeks, and it hasn't gotten rid of the pain. So another thing would be to exercise your foot by stretching out. Stretching. You see, plantar fasciitis, the pain is back here in the heel, but it's this whole area, and it's all the connectors here, all the tendons that are connecting, and they converge right around here in the heel. So stretching the foot, and I'll stand against a wall and stretch. Another approach would be to walk your foot. And this works better on a floor. Here I am on the rocks, but you can walk your foot forward, backward. A real key here is to catch the ground with your toes and really dig in with your toes as you walk, which again stretches this out. Now, another approach would be to use a little instrument that looks like an instrument of medieval torture. And here it is, the little spiky ball. And so what I do is I put this under my foot. And at first, boy, it's painful, but you get used to it. And I stand on it. Of course, I'm on my other foot too, so I'm not putting my full weight on this thing. Maybe some people would, but not me. And you just roll your foot on this spiky ball. And I've been doing that. In fact, I spent, a couple days ago, I rolled my foot during an entire NBA basketball game. So we're talking 2 hours of rolling, and I was putting some good weight on it. I mean, it's not like rolling like this. I'm actually, the ball's on the floor and I'm putting a lot of weight on it. And I'm feeling a little better today than I did a few days ago. So evidently there's some scar tissue in there that just needs to be loosened up and rolled in that tendon, the whole length of the bottom of your foot, and then especially in the heel. And so I'm experiencing that's breaking up a bit, but it has brought my running to a halt. And now I am walking and just favoring my heel. Of course, you could say, why don't you just rest? Get off your feet. But I've tried that before. And so I rest for a week, I rest for 2 weeks, get back on my feet, and it still hurts. So I don't think that resting has ever worked for me for this injury. One thing about the injury is that when it's bad, and mine is getting a bit better after 3 or 4 weeks, when it's at its worst, when you first get out of bed in the morning, you've been off your feet, you've been resting all night, and the first time your feet hit the floor, oh my gosh, it can be so painful. All the blood rushes down there to your heel, and wow, that's painful. So I know this has been kind of stream of consciousness, lot of things. So let's make a quick summary. Ways to deal with plantar fasciitis. 1, new shoes, heel cups. Another one I'd say is a low drop shoe, meaning that the distance between the heel and the ground and the toe in the ground is almost equal, as opposed to the heel being higher. Somehow that's not a good thing. So, get a low drop shoe and use the spiky ball. Walk your toes. And then as you walk, dig in with your toes and pull yourself forward with your toes just in the process of walking. That actually stretches out the tendon at the bottom of your foot. And you'll notice that it relieves the pain a bit, and ultimately it may promote the healing. Another thing, stand up against the wall stretch, stand on your toe, and stand on the ball of your foot, and lower your knee, raise your knee as you are, your heels up in the air, you're standing on the ball of your foot, and you're putting pressure. The key is to stretch that tendon between the ball of your foot and your heel. So these are the suggestions for plantar fasciitis. Another thing I would say is, remember what caused it in the first place was being on asphalt, walking on asphalt. Even though I wasn't running, I was walking about 4 miles a day on asphalt. So you get off cement, especially asphalt's has a little bit more cushioning, not much. Get off road and in your walking, tie your shoes tightly. Don't have loose shoes. Have new shoes, and try all these things, and perhaps you'll be able to accelerate the healing of plantar fasciitis, and it won't last for months. So that's my best wisdom for plantar fasciitis. Oh, and I just tried this morning. I heard somebody got a cortisone shot in their heel, and that provided some relief. Well, we had some cortisone cream, and so I rubbed it on my heel this morning, and that seemed to help a little bit. But yeah, that's not one of the primary things that I would do. But when you got this pain, you're reaching for anything. So I wish you the best of luck with plantar fasciitis, and you do a whole lot of different things. Just declare war on it. Do everything that I said, and you can accelerate the end of that painful injury. Okay. Good luck.